Hello everyone, and welcome back to another update video on the War Eternal series. So a lot's been going on the past few weeks, a lot of great things. One thing I would like to let you guys all know is if you hear dog sounds and a lot of barking, a lot of loud noises outside this room, it's because I'm with family at the moment, and this is the best place I can find to record. Yeah, so please ignore it. But other than that, what is going to go on today? What are we going to be talking about? So today, I have a few notes that I wrote down. I thought this was a great list. This is it. It's really not much. Speak about, this is so bad, but pretty much we're going to talk about where we are, so where I am with the writing process, what's going on. Second, show off the map. I want to show off the map to you guys. Third, talk about the story and the world and explain a little bit what you're jumping into. And then the last thing is talking about what's going to happen the next 4 months. Because right now it is pretty much the end of May. And we have 4 months till the release. The book, The Crimson Knight, comes out October 2026. I haven't confirmed a specific date. I'm thinking it's probably going to be the first or second week of October. That's the goal, of course. But, you know, maybe it'll be third or fourth week. Who knows? But it's definitely going to be in October. Because I think that's a good time. It's right around Halloween season. The book's kind of a dark epic fantasy, right? So, well, it is a dark epic fantasy, not kind of, but it is, and it's kind of a perfect time for a scary book to come out, right? But pretty much where I've been recently is I have just been editing my book like crazy. I'm reading off my iPad or my phone because I work on Apple Pages, and I just been writing there and just going through, trying to cut everything. In the last video, I talked about like trying to cut repetition, metaphors, similes I overused, or repetitive emotional beats I was using. All of that's pretty much done. It's cut, great. Right now we're on this part, 18th edit? And it's 18th or 19th, something like that. I'm pretty sure it's the 18th, but we're in the 18th edit, and pretty much what I'm going through is just trying to catch few things, maybe a missed period, maybe something needs capitalized, stuff like that. You're always going to miss something. For anyone who is a writer, you're always going to miss something, so don't beat yourself up over it. You know, you don't want to have like crazy mistakes, right? Like, oh my gosh, this sentence is completely unreadable, right? But you know, you're never going to catch everything, so don't beat yourself up over it if you don't catch everything. But I'm trying to go through and just, that's what I'm doing. But also some great news. So in the past few weeks, you know, because the last video I sent you guys was, you know, that video was actually 2 weeks earlier, and then I posted like 2 weeks later. So all of April and pretty much majority of May so far, my artists have been working on the art. So Augustinus, he's been working on the maps. He finished both maps. So both maps are completely finished. They're done, ready to rock and roll. And then I have my other artist, Pen Lu, and he has been working very hard on the cover, and we nailed it. I think we have a cover that is really going to be pretty exciting for y'all to see. It really screams dark epic fantasy, and it also tells you what exactly this book is going to be about. So both covers are completely finished, so you can, you know, feel good about yourself now. It's all good. Now it's just about, when do I want to release these covers? When do I want to show off the maps? Well, today we're going to be showing off one map. We're going to be talking about it a little bit, and we're going to be talking about the world. So if that's something that interests you, that's pretty much what this video is going to be about. And at the end of this, you know, YouTube video, I'm choking because I have acid reflux. This whole day I've had acid reflux. I had eggs. Usually I can eat eggs and bananas, no problems, but today I had a banana, and for some reason it made me die. And I was literally over there, like just falling over, rolling on my stomach, just crying. I mean, I'm being a little bit I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it feels like a cold knife just going through your chest. Worst feeling. And I still have it. And I'm drinking coffee. Probably not the best thing to drink, but you know, I want coffee. I haven't had coffee all day, so yeah. But you know what? Let's just start with what's happening next 4 months, and then we can jump into the story, the maps, all of that for those who want to see that. So anyone who's here who just wants an update with what's going on, give you that information. So what's going to be happening next 4 months? So in the next month, I'm going to be releasing the maps officially online, including my artist. He's going to release it on his portfolio. We're going to release the first map. The second map won't come out until August. I won't release it until then. I think that it just builds hype. It gives you something to look forward to. I think if you release everything right now, It's like, oh yeah, I saw everything, and then people forget, right? So I'm gonna save that for later. The cover, on the other hand, is not gonna come out till probably July or August as well. Not that I wouldn't want to show you guys. I'm very excited. You know, I'd love to show you right now, but I think it's better to wait until, July or August. But in the meantime, I'm going to be just, I guess, editing as much as possible, printing out proof copies. So I'm going to be printing out the paperback with the cover on it and the maps inside and everything, just to make sure. And I'm going to be reading through the physical copies, of course, the paperback and the hard copy, just to make sure everything came out right, because sometimes when you print things, sometimes it doesn't come out the way you thought it was. Sometimes they miss something, they miss wording. I have found this in the past. So that's why it's good to print out a physical copy, then go read it, take a red pen, mark it up. It's exactly, I did videos about this in the past, but here is my book, right? This is how thick it is. It's a pretty thick book. I mean, I made the wording a lot bigger. You can see I have like red pen marks going through this. But I mean, I went through this whole book just cleaning it up as much as possible, trying to catch as many mistakes. And that's pretty much what I'm going to do with the actual copies, like looking at the cover. How does it look? Do I need to reorganize anything or reformat it and move things around? Or is there just anything in the book that just doesn't work, right? That's pretty much what I'll be doing. But yeah, I mean, this is the thickness of the book. This is how thick the book's going to be. I'd rather have a smaller book. My book's going to be a 5.5 by 8.5. I think that's just nicer. It's thicker. It feels good. I think, especially when it comes to fantasy, thick books just are awesome. I think it's just how it should be done. And obviously, there's nothing wrong with making a 6x9 book, but I personally just like the thicker the book, the more appealing it is. It feels good in your hands, especially when you have the words really big, the font. I think that also helps reading. One thing I really don't like about a lot of the other books I have read, and some of the other books I am reading currently, is the fact that the font is so small that you have to squint. It sucks. I feel like I'm losing like my sight. And I don't want that in my book. I want it to be big. And also I think by having the font bigger, it makes each page more satisfying. Because for example, like when you're reading Malazan, you'll read like 10 pages in total, and it'll feel like you got through nothing. It's like, oh my gosh, I got nowhere with this book. Whereas like when you read the Stormlight Archives, the smaller versions, I think they're like a 4x6. I don't know, I forget off the top of my head, but they're like a 4x6, and they're like literally this big. They're not big at all. They're super chunky books, right? But when you read for like 20 minutes, you'll get through like 50 pages. Whereas if you read for 20 minutes with Malazan, it feels like you got through 5 pages. Granted, it is a harder read than most books out there, but yeah, it's something to keep in mind. But that's something I really want to do with my book, so that's why I'm going to make sure the book is thick. It's just I think it's more of an enjoyable experience for reading, and that's just personally my cup of tea. So I'm pretty much making the size book for people like me. But the hard copy book will be a 6x9. I think that'll be better. I think it depends on the book. I don't mind a hard copy being a 6x9, but when it's paperback, I want it to be smaller. Now, also what's going on is these next 4 months is just me going to be making update videos, trying to make as much social advertisement as possible, trying to advertise you guys to get the word of mouth out there for my book. Because one thing that's hard about being an author, and no one really talks about it, is that you need to promote your story yourself. It's just something that's really difficult to do, and you have to figure that out. And it's like shooting spaghetti at the wall. You really don't know what works. And so a lot of people who have found my content or found out about my book is mainly from TikTok. TikTok has been like the main place I have found for advertisement. Like I don't really push on Instagram anymore because Instagram is just, I swear it's so hard to get attention on there. It's so hard to grab people's attention on Instagram compared to TikTok. So I've just been doing not that I won't promote on TikTok or Instagram, of course, and other platforms, but I found that Instagram or TikTok is just the best place to do things. So that's where I'm focusing most of my marketing on. But again, in these next 4 months, we're going to talk about the world, the lore, some of the different characters. We're going to do that today, of course, talk about the 4 main POVs in this narrative. I think that will be fun so you guys can get to know them a little bit more and talk about what type of story that you guys are jumping into. That is something I think is really important. You want to make sure you meet expectations. If you're a writer out there who's watching this video, make sure you meet your readers' expectations. The worst thing you can do is say, my book is a fun adventure with friends and family, and then it turns out to be the most disturbing, dark story of all time. People are going to hate you for it, right? It could be a really great book, but the problem is people went in with these expectations, and they were met with this, So that's something that I think that can be scary and hard. So I try not to overhype my book, and I also try not to... I try to make sure I'm consistent with what I'm talking about with my story. But that's pretty much what's going to be going on in the next 4 months. Again, we'll do a map release. I'll do official map release on all my socials coming in June. And then I will show the second map when we get into August or September. And then the main cover will come out sometime end of July, early August. So that's pretty much what you're looking at. And I'll also show the physical copies as well, the hard copy and the paperback. I'll be showing that exclusively to you guys through the newsletter, of course. If you are subscribed to my newsletter, you get to see everything before anyone else, which is pretty cool. So make sure to subscribe to my newsletter if you aren't already and you found this video somehow on YouTube from the algorithm. Okay, now without further ado, let's move on to the story, the world, the maps, and all of that good jazz. So we're going to start out with the characters. I think that'll be fun to do, and then we can move over to the map because I think the map is going to be really exciting to see. It's really cool because the map is, when you're looking at the map Augustinus did, it is really beautiful. He pretty much, again, like I talked about last time, he copied and pasted from what I drew. I love drawing maps. And I draw most of my maps in this little notebook I have. You can see this is the main map of the story. This is where Orendel takes place. When we were first drawing the map, we have a video of it, but my artist accidentally made Tarnvir right here, a desert land when it should have been Zephyr. Zephyr is the desert land, but he made Tarnvir the desert land, and it was like, okay, It was a simple mistake, but we fixed that in the video, and you can see that when I post a map video in the future. But you have the 3 main continents, kind of like what we talked about. So it's really cool, but drawing the maps in here is awesome. I like drawing shorter maps as well. I have everything in here for small locations. It's also helps with telling the story, in my opinion. I think when you have maps, it makes your job 10 times easier as a author to coordinate where your characters are and where they are going. It feels like playing a video game where it feels like you're moving armies on your board. So that's something I really enjoy doing. Now, to talk about the POV characters, let's start with number 1. We're going to start with the main character, Matthew Peregrine. Who is he? Where's he from? What's going on? What's his story about? So pretty much Matthew, he is an elf from Leora. Leora, I showed it on my other map in the last video. You couldn't see it, but it is on this map today, so you're going to see it, so stay tuned to see that. But Leora, I'm going to try to zoom in right here. It's right here. I don't know if you can see that. Right here. That's where Matthew's from. He's from a small island. It's on the Sea of Ethera. And pretty much what happens with his story, he's like young dreamer, the stereotypical cliche hero character who is like, I want to see the world. I want to get out there, explore. I want to be Moana, right? That's pretty much where I got the idea. Moana, I think Legend of Zelda. Everyone knows that story. I think it's something we all really enjoy. I enjoy that as well. But I want to do a twist with it. There's a very weird twist with his narrative, and you experience it in part 2 of this book. But Matthew, he wants to explore the world. He wants to sail the seas like Greg the pirate. Greg Staff is his name, but he is the pirate captain for the Black Sail Pirates. The elves take these pirates in because they washed ashore many years ago, and so Arthur, Matthew's father, took them in and were very hospitable, and they just took care of these pirates, and then these pirates wanted to help these people and defend them, and told them about what's going on in the world, etc., etc. Because the elves in Leora, they left Valdorn, the main continent. They wanted to try to get away from it. Sekiro, Matthew's great-great-grandfather, left them with the elves during the Sundering. If you haven't already, you can go read my prologue on my TikTok or Instagram. That whole prologue is called the Sundering. It happens, a long time ago, 530 years prior to the main present time of this story. And it's about how Prince Cordas pretty much wiped out the Arlinians and then started a war among all of Valdorn, right? And so Sekiro, he pretty much said Sekiro, he's like, hey, let's get out of here. We're moving. So he got the elves away from from Valdorn, and they sailed across the Sea of Ethera, and they found Leora. And so they made their whole plan to stay there on that island. But Matthew looks up to this pirate, Greg, and he's he wants to be like him. He wants to sail the seas, see different places, worlds. And I kind of based that a little bit off of my character. I always remember walking up to this mountain trail, looking over the cliff, and just seeing the whole world. And I'm like, man, it'd be so fun to go see the world. So very simple, easy to understand character, right? His motivations are clear. But then what happens with him is in chapter 2, Shadows in the Night, Matthew's siblings and many other children get kidnapped in Leora, and they get stolen. They were taken to this island called Jurith. And Greg, the mentor Matthew looks up to, knows about this place. He's like, he's been there, and he said it's very dangerous. And that's where these goblins, they took those kids to that island. And so Matthew and 13 other elves decide to, or 14 other elves, decide to go with Greg and the pirate crew to go sail after them. Matthew goes with them because his father got injured, and so Matthew says that those are my siblings. I need to go save them, Dad. And his dad's like, you go, son. Well, at first his dad's like, no, don't go. And his mother was like, don't go. You're our last child, blah, blah, blah. But Matthew's like, I have to save them. They're my siblings, blah, blah, blah. Right, so the beginning is very quick. And this is part 1 of the story. So you have the prologue, then you have part 1, chapters 1 through 4. And they're very quick chapters. I mean, they're not like... They're very quick, okay? That's all I gotta say. I mean, and it's meant to be quick. I'm trying to get you to part 2. I'm trying to get you to the point, because I don't need to sit in Leora. We're not gonna sit here in Leora and take it in for like the next 15 chapters and then have his siblings kidnapped. It's just, no. Siblings get kidnapped chapter 2. We're gonna be in Leora for a little bit. It's a fun festival event that happens in the very beginning for the 16-year-olds, but we're moving. So now Matthew's motivations have changed, right? It's no longer, oh, I want to see the world. It's now, oh, I have to save my siblings, and I also found out I'm cursed. So now Matthew's motivations have completely changed. It went from wanting to explore the world to now I have to save my siblings from these goblins who kidnapped them and all these other children. And while on top of that, he's been having these dreams and visions since chapter 1, and he doesn't understand what these dreams and visions are. They're very terrifying. He's been having them for the last few months. And now this black dog he saw in his vision, he saw in real life. When he went to go see his father in the house before he had to go sail after his siblings, he sees this black dog in the forest and it's watching him. It's staring at him, right? It's panting. There's blood seeping out of its teeth. And he's like, what the heck is wrong with this black dog? And as soon as he rubs his eyes, the dog is gone. So the things he saw in his dream is now coming into reality. And he's wondering, what does this have to do with things? Like, what's going on? What is that dog? So these dreams of his are very scary, and he's wondering what they are. But as he's sailing with his pirate crew, with Greg and them to go to the island Jurith, after 6 days, they're almost there. They're 1 day away. He falls off the ship, and he ends up in the kingdom of Eldoria the next day. And he wonders why he is here. He had a crazy dream last night, and something happened during that storm, which is really exciting. So definitely read chapter 3. But when he shows up to Eldoria in chapter 4, he pretty much finds out that he is cursed and he may be a part of something much larger than he ever expected. And that's where Matthew's chapter ends for part 1. Chapter 4 ends there. And then we move over to part 2, which is chapter 5. And this is where you're going to be introduced to Princess Aurora. Now, we don't leave Matthew. It's going to go between different characters. So now in part 2 is much longer. Again, part 1 was mainly just to get you to part 2. It was mainly just to help you understand, emotionally anchor you in a character, but not crazy depth level like, oh yeah, we're diving really into this. It's mainly just to get you to know Matthew. You have ideas of what the motivations are and what the plot of this story is about. But now we're moving into part 2, and part 2 is going to be pretty long. It's going to be chapters 5 through 20, okay? So it's long. It's 16 chapters, right? But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun 16 chapters. But you're going to be introduced to Princess Aurora, Torm, and the Black Knight. 3 awesome characters. And I think most of you guys are going to probably like the Black Knight. His chapters are pretty terrible, but it's exciting. I would say every chapter he's in, it's pretty much like, oh yeah, dude. But anyways, back to Princess Aurora. So pretty much Aurora, she is struggling between love and duty. Her motivations are she wants to be free like Matthew. She's struggling with duty. She wants to chase after her love partner, General Vince. She's in love with him and he loves her. But obviously he's a general, a knight, right? She's a princess. They can't be together. It's obvious, the cliche. They can't get together because of their families, blah, 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 right? It's that type of story. So, and she's struggling with, how she deals with her cousins like Alari and all the other things that are happening within politics. And her father brings her into the council to be part of the council, right? He wants her to help out with leading. And that is something that's going to be very, very different. But as Aurora is struggling with love and duty, she finds out that things are happening across the kingdom, right? Things that are very dark and disturbing. She doesn't understand what. And she's trying to understand, does this play a religious role? Does this play with other things? Is this another kingdom messing with them? She's trying to figure that out. And her family, her parents, they leave. They've been gone for weeks now. They said they're going to this island called Merk. So they're going to the island of Merk. It's east of Eldoria. But they go there and they disappear for weeks, and Aurora's never understood why. She doesn't understand why her parents go to this island, with a few other people, but they do. And so she's left running the kingdom, and she's trying to solve this mystery of what's going on with her family, what's going on with the kingdom right now, what's going on with this war that's about to begin. So much is happening while also struggling with her love life. So that's Aurora. I don't want to dive too much into her because I think we just get into crazy spoiler territory, and I think it'll ruin the fun for y'all. But now we're going to move on to Torm, the main villain of this story, the antagonist. Torm, he is an Erlinian. So you're introduced to Torm in the prologue, actually. So when you read the prologue, you see Prince Cordas. He's wiping out all the Erlinians. Erlinian people are pretty much, they have white hair, they have white skin, not like pale skin like Caucasian people like me. No, I mean like just white skin, like completely white as snow. That's what he's looking like, right? White like a marshmallow. That's probably not the best one, but anyways. And they have a gold diamond right there in their brow. That's what an Erlinian is. But you have two different ways to say Erlinian. You could say Erlin, or you could say Erlinian, which is obviously the group of people, and then you have Erlin, which is just, one person of that race. But after reading the prologue, you see his mom get killed, and his father's obviously dead in the very beginning, and you see him run away with Silith. And because of what happened, 530 years go by, and when you get to, I think it's chapter 7? When you get to chapter 7, it's called Marriott's Shop, you're introduced to Torm again, right, as a point of view character, and you're seeing him, and he seems very different from when he was a kid. He is the villain of this story, and it's very scary, and he's going around, and his motivations are to destroy all of Eldorn, destroy all of the humans for what they did to him and his race of people, right? And also to rescue his race of people. That's something he keeps preaching. He wants to save them, but how? Where is his people? What exactly happened to him? And this is going to be where we get into the cool lore stuff, right? Later on when you read the book. I can't spoil that. And then our fourth character, the fourth POV, is the Black Knight. I can't say his name. It's not like crazy spoilers or anything like that, but the Black Knight, he is a very, very fascinating character. All I can say is every time you are introduced to him, it's violent, it's dark, sad, there's a lot of weeping in moments, and he is a broken character wandering through this world. And he's our older our point of view character. He's been through this world, he's been here for a very long time, and he's seen a lot of stuff, right? So I wanted to have like an older male character as a point of view. I think that's really fun to have. I didn't want to just have like a young male protagonist that's naive and, unknown about or unaware about this world, right? I think nothing wrong with that, but again, that can get old after a while. So I wanted to have this Black Knight character as, another point of view to show that like, okay, this guy's more mature. He understands the world. He knows exactly what he needs to do, yada, yada, yada. And it's a huge mystery with what he's doing. And all we see when we're first introduced to him, he's in this place called Abbottstown. Now, I'm going to show you on the map where Abbottstown is. Here is Eldoria. Eldoria is right here in this area. Abbottstown is up here by the Hook Mountains, okay? That's where we're introduced to the Black Knight. And he is hunting after a specific man. Specific man to find another person. But when you're introduced to him in chapter 8, it's a very violent scene, right? And it shows, that chapter is mainly to show how dark the world is. And every time the Black Knight is on a chapter, the chapters are usually very, very short with him. They're meant to be short. They're meant to be very quick, fast, dark, violent, everything, right? All at once and relentless. And I wanted to do that just because, again, he's not the main character. The two main characters in this story is going to be Matthew and Aurora. But he's kind of like a side character point of view. But his story is really fascinating. And I think he actually may steal the show in this book because of all the things that happen to him in this book. this first story, it's just like, oh man, dude, this character is just, I don't even know how this character got through life. Like, it's really, really crazy. But those are the 4 main point of views. I do have other point of views in the story, like Wick, the Jester. He is a funny character. I wanted to add some comedy in this book, but not a lot. I want to keep it serious and dark. But we have Wick, who is, again, a jester. Then you have the Othraki. The Othraki are people who gave their souls up to the Nihilkins to become demons. And when you are an Othraki, you gain immense power that is beyond Atheris and just mortal abilities, right? Atheris is the magic system of this world. I don't like the word magic. I never liked the word magic. I don't mind magic in other stories, of course. I just want to have something different. I don't want to be like in my world, like, what type of magic do you have? I'd rather just be like, no, what type of Atheris do you have? And I think it's just unique. It makes your world feel special, awesome, and cool, and different. I want to be different. I don't want to be like every other story. But the Othraki are pretty much demons who are pretty much mortals who have the powers of demons, right? But there's an unfortunate thing of becoming an Othraki, right? You shouldn't just sell your soul to the demons, because there's a curse, of course. There's consequences to that, right? And you'll find that out in the story, mainly part 3. How many different parts are in this story? Well, you have 5 different parts in this book. Each part is to break things up and also to explain what this part, what characters you're going to be with in this part. So for in the beginning, you have the prologue, which is focused on Prince Cordas, Artis, and Tor Morrowind, right? And then you move into chapter 1, or part 1, and part 1 is chapters 1 through 4 is focused on Matthew. And you get to part 2, and it focuses on Torm, Matthew, the Black Knight, and Aurora. Those 4 characters all the way up to chapter 20. And then you're introduced to a 5th character in part 3. And then part 4, it goes back to Matthew and Aurora. It sticks with them. And then part 5, it splits up into multiple other characters that you're going to be introduced to. And that is pretty much the finale part. But that's pretty much it. I mean, for the story, I'll talk more about the lore in a future video, of course. But now we're going to show off the map for anyone who has been waiting till the end of this video. Thank you. Glad to have you aboard. So let's look at this map and talk more about it. Okay, so let's take a look at these maps and what I have here. But we're going to start off with the first initial sketch. So here is the main map that I drew. Okay, this is what I drew. You can take a quick look at it. Pretty cool, right? It's very detailed, a lot going on here. So if you love world building, if you love like diving into cool worlds, I'm telling you, you're gonna love this book. There's a lot of lore. Now, as we move on, here is the second part. So here is what my artist sketched. This is what you guys saw last time in my previous video. Pretty cool. You could see where he's going with this. You could see he messed up Tarnvir. He made it a desert land, like I said earlier in this video. That's supposed to be a rainforest area. So he had switched that out over with Saphir, which is to the right, the continent to the right. Here is him doing the line sketch. This took a lot of time, but you can see how highly detailed it is. Pretty cool, right? Just looking at it, it looks wow. It's like, wow, that looks pretty magnificent. It looks really epic. It looks awesome for a dark epic fantasy. And then we move into the actual map. Look at this. Just look at how beautiful this map is. Take it all in. Just look at it. Now that's what I call a map, right? This is a gorgeous, gorgeous map. So you could see here is Leora. See, so we were able to add the island in this time. It's all in there. But yeah, the rest of this map, dude, chef's kiss, dude. And it's so awesome seeing what you drew, because like this is what I drew. And it's fun to see that like finished, done, and see how a professional map artist would actually make it looking, gorgeous. But this will be in the book. In the paperback, it's going to be black and white. But in the, the hard copy 6x9 book, it's going to be in colors, which it will be obviously a little bit more expensive. But yeah, it's just gorgeous. You got Tarnvir here at the bottom left. You got Saphir on the right. And you got all of Valdorn at the top. And Valdorn is where the main story takes place. But there's a lot of things that are going to be happening. And this whole area is called Orindel. This is one section of the world, Korineth. There's other parts like Nineveh, but that's super far away out to the west, which we will not be talking about in this I guess video. It'll have to be for another time in future books. It is talked about in this book, but we'll talk about it in the future. But yeah, a lot of cool world building here, and maps. So I mean, if you're someone who loves maps, I mean, I'm telling you, you're gonna love having this for yourself. I do want to do printout maps. I gotta figure out how to do that in the future, but it'll be really cool. And it's again, this whole thing is really exciting just to see your map, what you did, come to life, completely finished, and just done. I can't tell you how exciting that is and fulfilling it is to see that. But that's it. That's the map. I hope you guys enjoyed. Take a long look at this. I will have a map video coming up soon talking about, showing beginning to end of this video of how my artist drew it, how long it took him, everything. I mean, I'll do a longer video, like an hour long video maybe. I don't know. I'm debating about that. But for the time being, it's just a short, like 10-minute video of him drawing everything. And I think a lot of you guys may like that, if you love watching map videos and how it's drawn. But that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Great talking to you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.